Turning now to our first alert forecast as we take a live look outside of the harbor. Looking pretty dreary out there. We are tracking possible storm chances this evening and over the next 2 days. The First Alert Weather Team has issued an alert day for Thursday when we could see some severe thunderstorms. Chief Meteorologist Derek Beasley tracking it all for us from the First Alert Weather Center. Derek, we're also heating up quickly, my friend.
That's right, Stefan. We've got a lot to talk about here. Storm threat next couple of days. Temperatures heating up, and then next week, the hottest weather we've had all season long. Looks like it's going to be arriving as early as later this weekend. First Alert Doppler radar tracking a couple of showers locally. Not much really to talk about, but we're looking out in western Maryland, Washington, Allegheny, Garrett County. Some strong storms there trying to make their way from west to east across the region. We're also watching for some more development down in northern Virginia. Either way, though, that area of green that you see there is what we call a marginal risk, level 1 of 5. Maybe a couple of storms here through later tonight could produce some severe weather. We're keeping an eye on that very carefully, particularly as a warm front pushes out of Virginia into our area. So we're going to have to watch for a storm threat here for this evening. First Alert Futurecast basically showing that possibility here for this evening through about midnight tonight, and then the chance should diminish after that. Currently 75 here in Baltimore, but it's all the way up to 81 in Frederick. Again, the warm front should lift through later tonight, and then that's going to keep us nice and sticky overnight tonight. Temperatures only dropping to around 70. Middle River, Halethorpe, Owings Mills down to around 70 degrees. Reisterstown, and then it looks like for tomorrow back up near 90 degrees. We'll talk about storm chances for the next couple of days, plus that heat for later this weekend and next week in your First Alert forecast coming up. Stefan, back to you. All right, here's a look at your neighborhood forecast for tonight. The big things we're going to be talking about over the next couple of days, the building heat and humidity, as well as storm chances, particularly for the next couple of afternoons. And, of course, your all-important AFRAM weekend forecast coming up in just a few minutes. First Alert Doppler radar, we're going to take a look at that in just a second. But your neighborhood forecast for tonight, looking at temperatures in Hartford and Cecil County, upper 60s to lower 70s. Chance for a shower or storm, too. And I think if we see anything, it's going to be mainly before midnight. Chances will start to decrease, though, after midnight and into tomorrow morning. But we're going to get another chance for storms here for tomorrow afternoon. This was just recently issued. This is a flood watch. Goes from Prince George's County all the way back towards the west through Frederick, parts of Montgomery County, and back into western Maryland. This goes through about midnight tonight. And we're looking at the possibility some of these storms along this warm front as it lifts northward could produce some heavy rainfall that could produce some flash flooding. This is actually pretty interesting here. Some storms now are firing up along the warm front as it lifts northward, and we got a tornado warning here, not in Maryland, but just across the border in Bedford and Fulton County in southern PA. This is just across the border, and this is in a due east storm motion here. So we'll see what happens if this thing ends up making a right turn. Sometimes these things do make a right turn, and they can turn to the south and east. That would put parts of Washington County in danger of maybe potentially having to deal with this storm. But right now, there's no indication of that happening. Here's our severe weather risk here through later tonight. Notice the marginal risk goes over to portion of the eastern shore. It does include Baltimore. And here's the tornado threat here for tonight. It's a very low-end threat, but anything along that warm front could spin up like we just saw with that storm there. So any isolated storms we're going to be keeping a close eye on with the warm front through later on this evening. Temps across the state mostly in the 70s. There are some 80s, Hagerstown, Frederick at 80 and 81 degrees respectively with a southerly wind across the region. That means a very muggy night expected tonight. Temps expected to drop only into the upper 60s to low to mid 70s across the area. Again, as that warm front lifts northward. And this is the boundary that we're watching. And as it pushes northward, we'll be watching for any storms that do happen to flare up along that. Severe weather threat here for tomorrow. We've got a marginal risk for severe weather there and a slight risk for severe weather, level 2 of 5, coming up on Thursday. Thursday will have the more substantial threat for severe weather, and that's where some of the storms could produce gusty winds as well as some heavy rainfall and frequent lightning. Again, storm chances tomorrow will be widely scattered. Better chance for storms coming up on Thursday afternoon with the cold front. And this is where we're going to see our more substantial threat for severe weather. And then as we go into the weekend, early next week, big high pressure dome builds across the area and the temperatures are going to skyrocket. And by the time we head towards next week, we've got highs near 100 degrees across the area. So again, tomorrow we're looking at highs right around 90. Storm chances during the afternoon. Heat index mid-90s. Heat index will be near 100 with an alert day coming up on Thursday for the potential for severe weather. Your AFRAM forecast, dry both days but hot. Low 90s Saturday, mid 90s Sunday. The heat index will be near 100 Sunday afternoon. And then next week will be the worst days. Monday, Tuesday, lasting into Wednesday. Highs near 100. Heat index possibly as high as 108 to maybe 110. We will keep you updated, and we'll be right back. All right, here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Storm chances next couple of afternoons. Greater threat for severe weather Thursday, and then hot for AFRAM maybe near 100 next week.
I'm not looking forward to that, my friend. We talked about this earlier. We're just going to pray about it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for us on the news at 6. I'm Stefan Dingle.
And I'm Derek Beasley. Thanks for watching WJZ.
The CBS Evening News is coming up next. Then be sure to stay tuned right here for WJZ News at 7 with Rick and Derek. Have a good night.